It's just some things. How do you do that?
Yeah, man.
Them headphones was jacked up.
We's officially back. We's officially back in the building.
We in here.
All right. Shalom.
Shalom.
Yeah. All right.
But what is funny?
Man, this brother tripping, man. You ain't gonna say shalom to the people?
Hey, man, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Shalom. Y'all gotta forgive me. I'm tired.
All right.
I can't believe it.
We were trying week once again. All right. We here. We back. We're gonna go through some things, as we are on the road to debunking all the lies that we were taught coming in the day. Today's class is entitled. Matter of fact, let me see something before I start class. Okay, so what's up with Facebook? What's going on with Facebook?
Yeah, I'm some reconstructing and I don't know what I'm talking about.
Okay, it just not popped up. All right. Shalom. It's One Nation Israelite School. Once again, we in the building. Let me type shalom through the chat. All right. We got viewers on the YouTube. Who's on YouTube?
I'm on now. My jump takes forever to load up.
All right.
Look at it. There you go.
Okay. All right. Shalom.
Shalom, fam.
We got a class that we're gonna do. Okay, so let me tune in. I got to my putting my focus on everything going on at once. All right, shalom. From One Nation Israelite School, I'm your host with the most, Teacher Judea, and Whitney.
St. John.
And Whitney.
Solomon the Benjamite.
All right. We in the building, y'all. So let's continue some things that I've been we've been for lack of better words, we've been going around debunking the lies and the things that we were taught coming in. And one of the first things that you're taught when you come into this truth, or the quote unquote truth, you're bombarded with a 12-tribe chart. You're bombarded with the 12-tribe chart. And one thing that I have learned about that 12-tribe chart is it is not accurate. It is not accurate. We were taught that a black man and 4 black women created only 3 black children and 9
other people.
Every other race. But out of the whole family, only 3. So 3 out of 12 were created to be black. to look like the people that created them.
Right.
And the other 9 looks like whoever.
Right.
So wait, how they do that?
How, Sway? Right. So what we're gonna do is, I've already, if you haven't seen it, we got both classes, Hispanics are not Israelites part 1, Hispanics are not Israelites part 2. There's no debunking it. Okay, go watch it. We've also cast down the wicked doctrine. You are the seed of your father. We cast down we've been tearing these false doctrines down. I will highly recommend you brothers to read, study. Like I told you, the days of being deceived is over with.
That's right.
The days of being deceived is over with. All right, so now what I want to do is I want to continue proving what I say. In other words, the things that I've said about the 12, I said the 12, I made a bold statement. I said the 12 tribe chart is false. They give you a chart and tell you, oh, based off of the scriptures, these people will be here. These people will be there. They are these type of people. They are those type of people. Well, I feel it's only right that if I say that 12 tribe chart is false, that I must go through the scriptures and prove it.
Right.
So get your Bibles and follow along. And we'll see. Now, this is what you got to understand. For those who say that Hispanics and Native American Indians are our people, right? Mm-hmm. You would have to prove that scripturally. But you know what they do? They don't prove it scripturally. Instead, they go get 1,000,001 different books and say, read this book, read that book, read this book. Well, I'm going to prove my cause in the Bible.
Okay. If that's the case, I could read Harry Potter and prove that.
So I'm going to prove what I say with the Bible. And if I go outside this Bible to prove the point, y'all tell me to just stop teaching. All right.
All right.
So let's do it. We're going to start like this. Let's go to Let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter 12, and let's start at verse 12. In fact, Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 11.
You said 12 and 11.
Yeah. And then you just go ahead and get to Genesis 35.
Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verse 11. The words of the wise are as golds and as nails fastened by the masters of assemblies, which are given from one shepherd.
Go ahead.
And further, by these, my son, be admonished, of making many books, there is no end.
Right. Of making many books, there is no end. Meaning people going to make books every single day. There will be no end to people making books.
Right.
So that's why when somebody say, read this book, read that book, read this book, they're going to make a book every day. Mm-hmm. And some of them going to have meat, and most of them going to have bones. Meaning all of it ain't good for you. So if I got to go to another book to make what I'm saying stand in the Bible, or I take this book and use its words to say this is what the Bible talking about over what the Bible says itself,
right?
Something is wrong.
Right.
Why? No mate, as was it Isaiah 34:16?
Yeah.
Watch this. Read that from the top again.
Well, verse 11.
12.
Verse 12. Well, Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verse 12. And further, by these, my son, be admonished, of making many books, there is no end.
So be admonished that they're making many books. There will be no end to that. There will be no end to them making books. But like I said, the reason why people tell you to go to a million different books because they can't prove what they saying with the Bible alone. Mm-hmm. Okay, so watch this. In that case, give me that, Isaiah.
Isaiah chapter 34 and verse 16. Seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read. No one of these shall fail. None shall want her mate. None shall want her mate. For my mouth it have commanded.
The Most High's mouth hath commanded it. Guess what? Seek ye out the book of the Lord and read. Seek ye out of the Bible and read that.
Right.
None shall fail. None of the prophecies in this Bible is going to fail. And none shall want her mate, meaning the Bible doesn't need a companion. You don't need another book to make the Bible say what you want it to say. Let the Bible say what it say. By God's mouth has it been commanded. So like I said, if I go outside of this Bible to use another book to prove what I'm saying, tell me to stop teaching. Go back to Ecclesiastes 12 and 12.
Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verse 12. And further, by these, my son, be admonished, of making many books, there is no end.
All right, so of making many books, there's no end. Go ahead.
And much study is a weariness of the flesh.
Read that part again.
And much study is a weariness of the flesh.
Every time y'all pull out 12 different books telling me to read these, to read that, to prove that the Hispanics and Native Americans are Israelites, I get tired. That's a weariness of the flesh. I get tired of all that to prove no, when I can just read the verses. The verses say what they say. I'm not going to read 12,000 books to prove something. The Bible will say what it say. It ain't about them having a book that they raised $4,000 so you can't get it to get the truth. That don't make no sense. Because if that's the case, why they didn't raise this one up?
Right.
All right, so let's go ahead and let's start at Genesis chapter 35, verse 23. And then you go ahead and get me Genesis 49 and 1.
Genesis chapter 35.
23.
Genesis chapter 25 and verse
35, 23.
What I said? Genesis chapter 35 and verse 23. Genesis chapter 35 and verse 23. The sons of Leah, Reuben, the sons of Leah, Reuben, Jacob's firstborn, and Simeon, and Levi, and Judah, and Issachar, and Zebulun.
All right. So read on.
Excuse me. The sons of Rachel, Joseph, and Benjamin. And the sons of Bilhah, Rachel's handmaid, Dan and Naphtali. And the sons of Zilpah, Leah's handmaid, Gad, Asher. These are the sons of Jacob, which was born to him, and Padanaram.
All right. So now, with that, we just read the 12 sons, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, with that, they'll tell you only 3 of them are black. Only 3 of them look like the people who created them, and the other ones look like. All right. Let's deal with it. Let's go to Genesis chapter. We're going to start with the firstborn, I guess. We're just going over.
Genesis chapter 49 verse 1. And Jacob called unto his sons and said, gather yourselves together, that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days.
Right. He says, gather yourselves together, that I may tell you that which is going to befall you in the last days. Right.
Right.
Let me see something real quick. Last days. Give me Hebrews chapter 1. Hebrews chapter 1, and I need verse 1 and 2. So last days, let's deal with that part. Give me Hebrews chapter 1, verse 1 and 2. There's something we must understand about last days.
Hebrews
1, 1, and 2.
Hebrews chapter 1 and verse 1. God, who at sundry times and divers manners spake in times past unto the fathers by the prophet, hath in these last days.
And what?
Hath in these last days.
In these last days. Now, the last days, when Jacob said, I'm going to tell you what's going to befall you in the last days, he's talking about in that time. Because the last days have been going on For how long?
Generations. After each generation, they have a time period which called last days.
The last days, right. So when we read in here, Jacob, in these last days, he spoke of the last days in their time. And the last days continue for over 2,000 some plus years. And when Christ died, that was the last days.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So what I'm saying is, understand that when it says last days, you better know in what context it's speaking.
Right.
All right. Right. So now go to Genesis again, 49. And he said, I'll tell you what shall befall you in the last days. Pick up verse 2.
Verse 2. Gather yourselves together, sons of Jacob, and hearken unto Israel your father. Reuben, thou art my firstborn.
So now we dealing with the firstborn, Reuben. Now, who do they tell you Reuben is? He says, they say Reuben is the Seminole Indians, and they said they're located in Florida. They said they live in the Florida, in the Everglades area. That's what they say. That's what they teach, that the Seminole Indians are, they say Reuben is the Seminole Indians, and they reside by prophecy in the Everglades parts of Florida. Now that's a theory.
Okay.
Okay. So now let's read that again. Verse 3.
Verse 3. Reuben, thou art my firstborn, my might, and the beginning of my strength, the excellency of dignity.
So the excellency of dignity, finish this verse.
And the excellency of power.
And the excellency of power. So first he's talking good about Reuben. But then here it is.
Unstable as water. Thou shalt not excel, because thou wentest up to thy father's bed, then defilest thou it. He went up to my couch. Right.
So Reuben went and laid with his father's wife, his brother's mother. Now that's a despicable act, ain't it?
Mm-hmm.
What? Because he broke a law. Give me Leviticus 18:8, somebody. Leviticus 18:8, just to show what he did, what law he was breaking.
Leviticus chapter 18 and verse 8. Leviticus chapter 18 and verse 8. Okay. Thou nakedness of thy father's wife shalt thou not uncover. It is thy father's nakedness.
All right, that's it. So in the law, you're not supposed to mess with your father's wife. In his case, he slept with his father's wife and his brother's mother. So now, go back to Genesis 49, verse 4 again.
Genesis chapter 49 verse 4. Unstable as water, thou shalt not excel, because thou wentest up to thy father's bed, then defilest thou it. He went up to my couch.
All right, so it says, he is unstable like water. He is unstable like water. So let's see how Reuben was unstable like water. But so far, by anything we read, does that tell you a location where they would be?
Not at all.
Did it say anything about the nationality changing?
No.
Okay. So now it says unstable like water. So let me show you what it meant, or how is it proven that he was unstable like water. Let's go to Genesis 37. And we're going to start at 19.
Genesis chapter 37 and verse 19. And they said one to another, behold, this dreamer coming.
So they was mad at Joseph. They're like, oh, here come this Negro with the dreams.
Come now, therefore, and let us slay him.
So they plotted to kill Joseph. They said, let us slay Joseph. Come on.
And cast him into some pit. And we say, some evil beasts have devoured him, and we shall see what will become of his dream.
Right. So let's kill him and say a beast ate him, and then see what come up with his dream. Let's see what happened with his dream then. The 12 tribes. Remember, these 11 brothers, they were plotting to kill him, and let's see what happened. Read on.
And Reuben heard it.
So now remember what Reuben has already done. He defiled his father's wife. Come on.
And he delivered him out of their hand.
So he delivered them out of their hand. So Reuben was doing what? Trying to stop them from killing their brother.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And said, let us not kill him. And Reuben said unto them, shed no blood, but cast him into this pit, that in the wilderness, and lay no hand upon him, that he might rid him, to deliver him to his father again.
Right. So what was that? 22. Yeah. So now the brothers was planning to kill Joseph.
Mm-hmm.
Reuben said, no, don't kill him, and said he made up his own plan. Let's cast him into the ditch, a pothole or whatever it was. Let's cast him into that. Meanwhile, his intentions was to do what? Come back and go to verse, just jump to 29.
29. And Reuben returned unto the pit.
So the pit that they cast him into, Reuben, after they leave, he returns back to the pit. Come on.
And behold, Joseph was not in the pit, and he rent his clothes.
So when he went back to actually get Joseph about the pit to take him back to his father, Joseph wasn't there, and he became sick. He rent his clothes off and stuff. So what happened was Reuben was actually trying to do a good thing, trying to reverse some of the wickedness that he had already did. So he was trying to save his brother, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now go to and that's already what showing you unstableness.
Right.
He defiled his brother's mama and his dad's wife. Then next thing you know, he's saved.
Right.
Now, watch this. Go to number 16 and 1. Just pay attention to the pattern that's going on with Reuben. He done defiled his brother's mother, slept with his father's wife. Now he done saved his brother's life. Now watch this. Go to number 16 and 1.
Numbers chapter 16 and verse 1. Now Korah, the son of Izhar, the son of Kohath, the son of Levi, and Dathan, and Abiram, and the sons of Eliab, and On, the son of Peleth, sons of Reuben.
Sons of Reuben. Watch this.
Took men, and they rose up before Moses with certain of the children of Israel, 250 princes of the assembly, famous in the congregation, men of renown.
Right. So now, the sons of Reuben plots.
Mm-hmm.
Now think about this. After they already done seen what God did to Miriam and Aaron for talking against Moses, they sit here plotting, trying to get rid of Moses altogether. So do you see the up and down with Reuben?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So do you see how one moment he was one moment he defiled his brother's mother and sleep with his father's wife. The next moment he's saving his brother. Then the next moment he trying to kill Moses.
Right.
Do you see what it means? How he's unstable like water?
Yep.
Think about that. Think about somebody like that today. What would we call them?
Flip-floppy.
Flip-floppy, unstable. That's another word. Yeah.
Two-face.
Think about it like this. Somebody who's one moment they cool and the next moment they flipping out.
Mm-hmm.
You would say they were bipolar.
It's here.
As you can see, when you reading about Reuben, you can see that switch up in him. One moment he's straight, next moment he off again. Next moment he's straight, next moment. Reuben is unstable like water. That's what it's talking about, being unstable.
Right.
Like water. So even when they trying to get rid of Reuben, trying to get rid of Moses. Because remember, the whole thing is one point he defiling his brother's mother. Right. And his father's wife. The next moment he's saving his brother's life. The next moment he trying to kill Moses.
Right.
Moses kind of knew it. So Moses ended up having to pray for him. This is why he said, go to Deuteronomy 33 and 6.
Deuteronomy chapter 33 and verse 6. Deuteronomy chapter 33 and verse 6. Let Reuben live and not die, and let not his men be few.
Right. So Moses ended up having to pray for Reuben, man. You know what I'm saying? He had to pray for him. His brother's unstable like water, man. When you're unstable, All right. So now, did y'all hear anything about a nationality switching?
No.
Not at all.
Did you hear anything about Reuben being his father's being a Negro and his mother being a Negro, but somehow he an Indian?
Not at all.
Anything about the location that he live in?
Nope.
So how then can they just tell you, oh, he's a Seminole Indian and he live in the Everglades?
They're going off their own what their own thought.
But you know what they will do?
What?
Because they can't prove it with that. We just read it.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll say, read this book.
Right.
And read this book, and read this book. You cannot prove the Native Americans and Hispanics are Israelites based off the Bible alone. You have to go to books that have nothing to do with the Bible.
Right.
Right.
And another thing to tell y'all something, to show y'all something, listen, everybody that went into slavery ain't an Israelite. Just like everybody that get killed by police ain't an Israelite.
Right.
Stop taking something that happens every once in a blue moon to somebody else and then trying to, oh, they got to be Israel. That's cursed off. That's our lifestyle. We live with it.
Right.
Something that happens every once in a while, that's just a judgment.
Right.
All right, let's go back to Genesis chapter 49.
Mm-hmm.
And let's deal with the next tribe. Where we stopped at, verse 4?
Yeah.
All right, so pick up at verse 5.
Genesis chapter 49 and verse 5. Simeon and Levi are brethren.
All right, so now let's deal with Simeon and Levi. Now, what I need you to understand is some of the stuff that they broke down to Simeon and Levi, it do sound good, right?
Mm-hmm.
It do sound like you like, dang, it do sound so good. But here's, I raised a question for y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Why do they say Reuben? What was it? I think it's they say Benjamin. No, they say Benjamin, Levi, and Simeon are 3 separate tribes, but they all.
Enough of that.
Yeah, that don't work.
How about that? Because now it's basically 3 tribes is in the West Indies. How do you know which is which?
You don't.
They playing with people intelligence. So.
You got Levi, Simeon, and Benjamin. They both, all 3 of them in the West Indies. How you just gonna say, okay, these particular people is this people, this particular is that? You just gonna place them somewhere?
Right.
They got the Midas touch.
Go, whoa!
Nah, they'll start that.
All right, let's do it. Genesis 49 and 5.
Genesis chapter 49 and verse 5. Simeon and Levi are brethren. Instruments of cruelty are in their habitations.
All right, so it says Simeon and Levi are brethren.
Mm-hmm.
Instruments of cruelty are in their habitation. Now, this is what. Okay. This is hold on. Let's read on. Let's read on real quick before we touch it. Let's read on.
O my soul, come not thou into thy secret unto their assembly. My honor, be not thou united. For in their anger they slew a man, and in their self-will they dig down a wall.
Now, notice the way that this is written. Is that prophetic, or did this already happen based off the way it's written?
Already happened.
It already happened. It said they slew a man.
Mm-hmm.
That already happened. And their fish, their self-will, they slew a man. Dang, I forgot what I was about to say. Read it again. Read 6 again. Oh no, it's verse 7. That's what you read. It said, "Curse be that anger," right?
No, I read verse 6.
Okay, read 6 into 7.
Verse 6. O my soul, come not thou into their secret, unto their assembly my honor.
Right. As a fact, so now that is good. And on Reuben, wishy-washy. That would be something. Yeah, that would be another way that they would say he unstable. So back to Simeon. Just breeze from 5 to 7 real quick.
All right. Genesis chapter 49 and verse 5. Simeon and Levi are brethren. Instruments of cruelty are in the habitation. O my soul, come not thou into thy secret. My honor, be not thou united. For in their anger they slew a man, and in their self-will they dig down a wall.
In their self-will they digged down a wall. Is that prophetic, or is that something already happened?
Already happened.
Read on.
Cursed be their anger.
Cursed be their anger.
For it was fierce.
For it was fierce. Past tense again.
And their wrath, for it was cruel. I will divide them in Jacob, and scattered them in Israel.
I will do what?
Divide them in Jacob.
I will divide them in Jacob, and what else?
And scatter them in Israel.
And scatter them in Israel. So what is that telling you? Anywhere that Israel is,
they are.
So is Simeon and Levi.
That's right.
So how you gonna just pick out a region and say they there?
Right.
When it's telling you they're gonna be scattered amongst all of us. Anywhere we at, they're gonna be there. Let's watch this. It's time to go cutting now. So verse 5 again, it says, Simeon and Levi are brethren. Instruments of cruelty are in their habitation. Yep. Now they said that was voodoo, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yep.
They said the cruelty instruments was voodoo, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't that when they
that
circumcision thing?
Let's see what the instruments of cruelty really are. Okay. Before we start, I just want to ask y'all, did this verse say anything about voodoo?
Not at all.
All right, so watch this. Let's get the instruments of cruelty. Go to Genesis 34 and verse 24, because this is not prophetic. It had already happened.
Right.
So Genesis 34, verse 24.
Okay. Genesis chapter, you said 34, right?
Yeah.
Genesis chapter 34 and verse 24. And unto Haman and unto Shechem, his son, hearkened all that went out of the gate of his city, and every male was circumcised, all that went out of the gate of his city.
Go ahead.
And it came to pass on the third day, when they were sore, that two of the sons of Jacob, Simeon and Levi, Daniel's brother, took each man his sword and came.
Hold on, they did what?
Excuse me. Took each man his sword.
So this man laid with a sister.
Mm-hmm.
They said, okay, well, if you get circumcised, you can marry my sister.
Mm-hmm.
They let them get circumcised, and then on the third day, when the soreness set in, they took what?
Sword.
They took swords in their hands and did what?
And came upon the city boldly and slew all the males. A sword is an instrument because it's an instrument that's used to kill.
Right. They took the sword and slew all the men, every male in the city. Right.
Right.
Read on.
And it came to pass on the third day.
No, you skipped 26.
All right. And they slew Haman and Shechem his son with the edge of the sword, and took Dina's out of the Shechem's house and went out.
Go ahead.
The sons of Jacob came upon the slain and spoiled the city because they had defiled their sister.
Because they had defiled their sister. So that's why they are so angry. But what it's telling you is they took the sword, so hold on, before I even explain this.
Mm-hmm.
What's the instrument of cruelty here?
The sword.
The sword. And what's the assembly? The secret plot. What was the plot?
They killed him.
Every man. To kill every last one of them. But what was the tactic? How did they say let's do it?
They're circumcised.
Give them circumcised, and when sword is taken in, they won't be able to fight.
Mm-hmm.
And killed every last one of them. So it says, then it lets you know that they did it. Why? Because they was angry that he had done defiled their sister.
That's right.
This already happened. This had already happened by the time we got to Genesis 49 and he was breaking it down. That's why he spoke it in past tense.
Mm-hmm.
Now, go back to Genesis 49, read 7.
Genesis chapter 49 and verse 7. Cursed be their anger, for it was fierce.
Cursed be that. You know how fierce that anger got to be to slay the whole dang city?
And their wrath, for it was cruel.
Come on.
I will divide them in Jacob.
He said, I will divide them in Jacob.
And scatter them in Israel.
So that's telling you, if he's going to scatter them in Israel, that means anywhere Israel is, Simeon and Levi is sprinkled in somewhere.
Right.
All right. So guess what? You may not realize that you may be Simeon. You may not realize that you may be Levi.
Right.
Watch this. Let's go to Deuteronomy 18 and 1.
Deuteronomy chapter 18 and verse 1.
And I just want to know, based off of what we read so far, does that give you any location for anybody?
Not at all.
Okay. You still haven't got a location, so why are they saying that Simeon and Levi is over in Dominican Republic area?
Because they assume it. Sure.
Okay, you just throw them in there.
That's right.
All right, watch this. When the Bible telling you clearly they're gonna be mixed among Israel wherever we at.
Yeah, they just adding to it, you know.
Okay, Deuteronomy 18:1.
Deuteronomy chapter 18 and verse 1. The priests, the Levites, and all the tribes of Levi shall have no part nor inheritance. Yeah, that was true. Yeah.
Well, I just read it again.
Said that back in Joshua and Numbers.
Watch this.
No inheritance with Israel. They shall eat the offerings of the Lord made by fire, and his inheritance.
Right. So the scripture says that basically, so Levi had no inheritance. So the priests were scattered throughout all the tribes, but he said he would scatter both of them.
No,
right.
If anybody was a reader or they did study, it'll tell you in Joshua when the land was getting divided, that Levi didn't have no land. He was the lowest inheritance.
I'm gonna go there next.
See,
let's go to Joshua 21:41.
Right. That's it, tough, coach.
Let's go to Joshua 21:41.
Y'all ain't reading, coach.
As you can see, the scriptures tell you clearly they don't inherit any land.
They don't.
They scattered amongst us. So how you just gonna place them in an area?
Yo, most often to cook, y'all.
Right. Spreading lies.
Genesis 21:41.
Genesis.
Joshua. Slide here.
41. Genesis chapter 21 and verse 41.
Joshua.
Oh my God.
Okay, I see you. I begin Yasha Shalom.
Joshua chapter 21 and verse 41. All the cities of Levi, which the possession of the children of Israel, were 48 cities, which were their suburbs.
Read it again.
All the cities of the Levites within the possession of the children of Israel.
Why is it within the children of Israel? Because the scripture told you that what?
They ain't have no land.
They would have no land. They would be scattered wherever Israel is. Right. Read it one more time.
All the cities of the children within the possession of the children of Israel were 48 cities with their suburbs.
With their suburbs. So all the cities of Levi's was in the possessions of Israel. Why? Because they were scattered throughout it. They were scattered throughout. Watch this. Go to Joshua 19:1. Because it said he was going to scatter both of them, right? Mm-hmm. So we just touched Levi. Now watch this.
Joshua chapter 19 and verse 1. And the second lot came forth of Simeon, even for the tribe of the children of Simeon, according to their families. And their inheritance was within the inheritance of the children of Judah.
Their what?
That's game over. And their inheritance was within the inheritance of the children of Judah.
Their inheritance was within the children of Judah. Why? Because Judah had so much land. They had too much land, basically. So they like, okay, Simeon had some. So guess what? Guess what? This whole time you living amongst Simeon and don't realize it.
Right. You know what people who talk these lies saying right now, who told these mother effers to read?
Right.
Right. Jump to verse 9. Watch this. Jump to verse 9.
Verse 9. Out of the proportion of the children of Judah.
Out of the portion.
Yeah. Out of the portion of the children of Judah was the inheritance of the children of Simeon. For the part of the children of Judah was too much for them. Therefore, the children of Simeon had their inheritance within the inheritance of them.
Why? Because it told you that wherever Israel is, Simeon and Levi was going to be there. Now it's just telling you that Simeon had their part of their inheritance in Judah.
Right. Because
Judah had too much land for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So their inheritance is the portions of Judah. So how you going to just place them somewhere?
Right.
Okay. Watch this. So now we proved it with the southern kingdom, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now we got to tie them into the northern kingdom. Because the Most High said he was going to scatter them throughout Israel.
That's right.
So now go to 2 Chronicles. 2 Chronicles 34 and get verse 5.
said 34.
Yeah, 5.
2 Chronicles chapter 34 and verse 5. And he burnt the bones of the priests upon their altars and cleansed Judah and Jerusalem.
Yeah.
And so did he in the cities of Manasseh and Ephraim and Simeon, even unto Naphtali, with their mattocks round about.
Right. So now, did that just mention them being in both kingdoms?
No. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You got in Judah, and then you got Manasseh.
And I said Ephraim.
Right.
And Naphtali.
And Naphtali. That's northern kingdom and southern kingdom, as prophesied.
Mm-hmm.
Northern kingdom and southern kingdom, as prophesied. So now, once again, when you read this, did it give you any specific location?
Not at all.
Did it say anything about their race changing?
Oh.
So where are we getting this from?
Oh man.
No, coach.
All right. I just want to touch that. And you know, it's many other little scriptures you could go to, but at this point, I just want to prove that the basis of what they're saying they're getting this stuff from is a lie.
Right.
So with us going through that, now I would have to pose the question: show me how do you get Indians out of those 3 tribes we just went through? How do you get one being out of 3 tribes we just went through? How do you get 2 of them being Indians and 1 of them being Negro?
Right. 2 Chronicles was written by one of the wisest kings ever, so you wiser than him.
Right.
Cut it out.
All right. So now we're gonna lead it. That's 2 tribes. All right. We're gonna no 3 tribes. We'll leave those 3 right there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And I want to go to answering some questions.
Cool.
We're gonna answer some questions and then we're gonna get up out of here. Now, is anybody have anything they want to say against what I brought out so far? And I'm leaving that to the comment section. Does anybody have anything they want to say against what I brought out?
Yeah. Probably wouldn't eat no chicken wings. Big chicken wings.
All right. Well, I don't see nobody, so we'll keep going. So now let's go to the questions real quick, which I had already wrote. It says, okay, so last week when we was that last week, I think, when we was going over questions and
yeah, I think so.
then I was like, the women are wicked.
Yeah.
Yeah, so one of the questions came, a question came from behind that, and she was like, you call all women wicked when there are some women that are repentant. All right. Sahira. What's up? Shalom. Anywho, so the sister want to know, why did I call all women wicked? I guess the thing is, because the way I brought it out, it was assumed that I was saying that all women are wicked.
No, bro. Even though that, we just saying what the scripture was saying, coach.
Right. But no, I don't believe all women are wicked. Trust me, we don't believe that. We don't think like that. Let's go to Sirach 35 and Sirach 36. So sister wanted to know, why did I say all women were wicked?
36.
And that's not what I was trying to say. Give me Sirach 36 and 21.
Sirach chapter 36 and verse 21. A woman will receive every man.
A woman will receive every man. So it's telling you that a woman will lay with every man. Don't get it mistaken. Go ahead.
Yet is one daughter better than another.
Yet is one daughter better than another. So that's telling you, yeah, every woman will lay with a woman will receive every man, but you know what? One daughter is better than another. So it's up to you to find which sister is better than the other. In other words, basically, if it wasn't a woman out there that you can find,
right,
that you could have commit to you and not sleep with every other man, it's your job to find her out. But if she wasn't out there, the scripture wouldn't have said that. All right, watch this. We know some righteous women. Some of you women be righteous and you have wicked husbands. That goes, you know what I'm saying, goes both ways. We're not just saying that all women are wicked. No, don't get it mistaken. As a fact, go to Samuel 25. 1 Samuel 25. And give me verses 1 through 3.
First Samuel chapter 25 and verse 1. 1 Samuel chapter 25 and verse 1. And Samuel died, and all the Israelites were gathered together, and laminated him, and buried him in the house of Ramah. And David arose and went down to the wilderness of Paran. And there was a man in Maon whose possession were in Carmel. And the man was very great, and he had 1,000 sheep and 1,000 goats.
Hold on, where you at?
You said 1 Samuel 25, right?
Yeah, I need 1 through 3.
I'm reading verse 1.
Go ahead.
Oh, that was verse 2. Now the name of the man, now this verse 3. Now the name of the man was Nabal, and the name of his wife was Abigail, and she was a woman of good understanding and of a beautiful countenance, but the man was churlish and evil in his doing, and he was of the house of Caleb.
So the scripture says that this man had a good and a beautiful woman with understanding. So that's telling you, obviously, she had understanding. She keep the commandments.
Right.
She's a righteous woman. But her husband was churlish. I mean, nigga had the devil on him. So don't ever get it mistaken when I speak. I'm answering the question from the perspective of the man. In other words,
right.
When I was answering that question, it was strictly in the space of dealing with a man's question. That's why, as you can see today, I pulled a scripture for a righteous woman that had a wicked husband to show that there is a balance. There are some righteous women out there. There are. As a fact, give me Sirach 26 and 1.
Sirach chapter 26 and verse 1. Sirach chapter 26 and verse 1. Blessed is the man that hath a virtuous wife, for the number of his days shall be double. You read it?
Yeah.
A virtuous woman.
Hold on. Where you at?
Verse 1.
Read 1 again.
Chapter 26 and verse 1. Blessed is the man that hath a virtuous wife, for the number of his days shall be double.
Right. So it says, blessed is the man that hath a virtuous wife, for the number of his days shall be doubled. I mean, when you obviously, this is what you gotta understand, guys. If there was no virtuous women out there, the scripture wouldn't be speaking of them.
Right.
So we clearly know that there are some righteous women and some virtuous women. And when you get her, she will make the days of their life double. Okay. Now let's go to hold on. Jump to 3. So I want verse 3.
Gotcha. Verse 3. A good wife is a good portion, which shall be given in the portion of them that fear the Lord.
Right. That's a good one.
Yes, sir.
Read it again.
A good wife is a good portion.
So if there wasn't a such thing as a good wife, if there was no women out there that could make a good wife, this scripture wouldn't say that. Say a good wife is what?
A good portion, which shall be given in the portion of them that fear the Lord.
Which shall be given to them in a portion as a portion to them that fear the Lord. Mean you want that good wife, you better be a man that fears the Lord.
Right.
Okay. So
verse 23 says, woman is given as a portion to a wicked man, but a godly woman is given to him that fears the Lord.
Right. So now, as we explain and as we read, as you can see, I'm showing you that we do understand that there are some righteous and virtuous women out there. When I made the statement that I made, it was not saying that there is no righteous women. I was only dealing with it from the man perspective at that point. Okay. We understand that there's some good and some righteous women out there. All right. But what I am saying is they're hard to find. Precept, Proverbs 31 and verse 10. Proverbs 31 and 10 lets you know there is some damn good women out there, but they are hard to find. Let's prove it.
Proverbs chapter 31 verse 10. Who can find a virtuous woman?
Hold on. What?
Who can find a virtuous woman?
It's asking you in a form for a reason. Who can find a virtuous woman? Who? Why? Because there are not many out there.
Right.
Read on.
For her price is far above rubies.
Her price is far above rubies. You know, that's telling you that who can find a virtuous woman? Her price is far above rubies, meaning she is priceless.
Right.
To find a good woman, it is priceless. Why? Because the Bible tells you a virtuous woman will do what? Double the days of your life.
That's right.
She is hard to find. Read it from the top again.
Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies.
Far above rubies. Okay, is that on that verse?
Yeah.
All right. So understand this. Sisters, we don't think that y'all are all wicked. No, that's not what we're saying. Don't ever think that we think like that. Yeah, we get on the men here too. You know what I'm saying? We don't think like that. Okay? Man, we love y'all, all right? We love y'all, sisters. But the Bible said what it said.
Right.
All right. So the next question says, how can I show a man I'm stable without coming off as too independent? I guess you're taking that advice good, huh? Okay. You want to know how you can show a man that you stable, you find that you're stable without coming off as too independent? I tell you just like this. Do as he do for him as he do for you. But not in a competitive manner. Don't be competitive as soon as I gotta do something now because I'm showing you I can take that. No, don't do it like that. Do for him as he do for you. I'll give an example. Let's say a brother's interested in you and he takes you to lunch. Okay, so you go to lunch with him. Let's say, a little time passed. You text or call him and tell him, you know what? I really enjoyed having lunch with you the other day. I was wondering if you have a little time in your hand, you're not too busy, if I could take you to lunch today.
She taking me out?
I'm telling you, us men, we be like, oh, we like that.
Oh, yeah.
We like that.
Very much so.
Right. We like that.
Sound like you got a little bit of understanding of equality.
Right. So what happens is you'll take him out to lunch. And a lot of times us men, I like me, I know I test you. When we go out to eat, when you take me to lunch, when we get done eating, the bill come, I'll be like, girl, go ahead, give me that bill. You ain't gotta worry about that. Insist on paying. Because sometimes I just see if you really was gonna pay. If as soon as I say don't worry about it, I pay the bill, he's like, oh, okay. I'm like, man, girl, you ain't want to pay no damn bill. You just bought me. All right, don't worry about it. I pay the bill, and that probably be the. I understand the bait from that point on. You know what I'm saying?
Now, right now we going back and forth, and you like, no, I really know you wanted to pay that bill. You was gonna pay.
Right, but don't become competitive with him.
All right.
Don't become competitive. So if you take him and he said, "Let me pay," girl, don't worry about it. I pay the bill. You like, no, I want to pay the bill. You sure? Yeah, you sure? Yeah. Can't argue with that.
Right.
Eventually, when the way to get that, I'm gonna beat you to paying the bill. So,
no,
I'm gonna just call you Big Bob.
We'll let you pay the bill, and guess what? Believe it or not, we talk about that. We like that. Hey man, look, girl, she might be straight, man. She all right. What you mean? Yeah, man, I took her out to eat. You know what I'm saying? I know she took me out to eat, and you know what I'm saying, paid the bill. I'm like,
right.
We talk about it. We like that. So you don't have to be competitive with him. Just you want to show you financially set. But what you can't do, I'm gonna put this out here because somebody did that for. What you cannot do is take me out to eat, and then 2 weeks later tell me you need help paying the bill. You should have saved the money that you took me out to eat with. but if you are a woman that said and you want to show you all right, you know what I'm saying, you're not really bad off, you all right, without coming across as too independent, just do for me as I do for you.
Right.
And that don't mean you got to try to match me for every dollar I spend. Don't be too competitive, but it's just that simple. All right. So now let's go to what I'm saying. Go to. Mm-hmm. So that question I ain't gonna put no scripture. That was just some advice. Mm-hmm. Let's read the next one. It says, now I had to answer this question when I saw it. I ain't gonna lie to you. She said, why do men think spending money is spending time? Right. I'm gonna answer that. Now I don't want you to get offended the way I answer it because that's a threefold answer.
Threefold.
Yeah, it's like a threefold answer because don't get it mistaken. We do understand that there is a difference. We know that they're like time together with each other. We understand that, but that's the problem right there.
Right.
Because women, difference between men and women, y'all look at time as how much time we spend together. Mm-hmm. But I'm gonna just answer this in a one-fold way. So y'all look at it as how much time we actually spend next to each other. For me, one of the ways that I look at time is money. My money is time. Why? Because I gotta spend all my goddamn time to get it.
Right.
I got 2 jobs. You can't complain talking about why we ain't spending time. Hello. That's 2 jobs, Charlie.
But yeah, so understand that apart from me, my time to me, a part of the time for me is money. Right. Because I gotta spend all my time to get it.
Right. So
when I'm spending money on you, I'm spending my time. Mm-hmm. Y'all get that?
Hey, that was a lot right now.
So,
I might need to use that.
Now that's just the one-fold because trust me, we do understand that there is a literal sense of us having to spend time with you. Mm-hmm. But what you got to also understand is there is no sympathy for a man who is broke, who has no job, or no money.
All right. Every name in the book.
Right. There's no sympathy for him. The man is broke, he had no money and no job.
He's sorry.
He's sorry. Bingo. You know what I'm saying? And even in the scripts, if you kind of look, there is no sympathy for a man who has no job. Right. Precept, what's one of the most famous sayings in the world? A man don't
work, he don't eat.
Let's get it. 2 Thessalonians 3:10. But don't get it twisted. We do understand that we need to spend some time with you, but we also need you to understand that money is time because we have to spend our time to get it. And then not only that, sometimes brother be tired.
For real. How you gonna soon a man come from work and he haven't been home for 2 days? Then you talking about let's go out. Cancel your plans, baby.
Thessalonians chapter 3 and verse 10. For even when we were with you, this was commanded you, that if any would not work, neither shall he eat.
All right. If any did not work, he should not eat. So what's that showing you? There was no sympathy for a man that don't work. Right. You better have some type of condition going on with you, something wrong like you can't work.
Like your leg broken, some shit.
Right. So with that being said, I will say some men, they just do a terrible job of dividing the actual time. Mm-hmm. But understand that in a one-fold way, to me, my money is my time. Right. Because I have to spend all my time to get it. So when I spend money on you, I'm spending the time I had to get it. All right. But as far as that's a one-fold answer, but understand it just depends on the scenario. I'm just speaking from one point of view. Because I know when I'm in a relationship, I am pretty good at time, but it just depends on your situation. I don't know it, so I'm speaking from one angle. All right. So now I'm gonna do this last question for today. It says, I've been watching y'all for a minute, kind of new to the actual lifestyle of being in the truth. What do I do if my family having a hard time adjusting to the new changes in the lifestyle? Okay. So now, what do you do if your family's having a hard time adjusting to the lifestyle of the truth? If it's laws and commandments, understand this. And I don't want nobody to get offended by what I'm answering. Understand this. Nobody likes change
at all.
But if you enforce it, they'll get used to it. Anything that is a change, you have to adapt to the change. And they will adapt to it if you do not bend. But as long as you are sympathetic to emotions and feelings and what one person don't like and this person don't want to do this, as long as you sympathetic and you bend into it, they will never fully buy in.
Right.
If you want your family to adjust to the changes in this truth, you must put your emotions and cares about who likes what and who doesn't and who's mad and who to the side.
Right.
You don't get the kingdom by sympathizing with emotions.
Okay.
Let's go to Jeremiah 2:33. As you come into the truth, you're going to see a lot of things that you don't like. It's going to be a lot of things that got to change. But if you continue to sympathize with those things, you're going to continue to break those things. You must enforce it for everybody to buy in. And thus, through the process of time of you doing something over and over and steady doing it, it becomes normal to you. But it will not become normal if you are sympathizing with it because this person is upset about it. This person doesn't like this. It's not going to work. Watch this. Jeremiah 2:33.
Jeremiah chapter 2 and verse 33. Why trimmest thou way to seek love?
It says, why trimmest thou ways to seek love? That's what you're doing. Y'all are trimming the commandments of God to seek love. What do you mean by seeking love? Because you don't want this person to be mad. You don't want this person to be angry. You're so worried about how this person feels about this particular thing. That person worried about that. I almost cussed. So what? If you see it in the Bible, you're going to do it. That's just how it is in this life. You're going to do what the Bible says to do, or else you can die. And with your household, you can enforce the laws to be kept in your house, or you can die for not enforcing it. God isn't a God that is going to compromise about his commandments. Nobody likes change, but guess what? If you make the changes over a period of time, it becomes a normal thing. Then you be like, well, what were you so mad about in the beginning?
Right.
Don't trim the Lord's commandments to seek love, meaning to appease people, to make someone feel better or comfortable about. Keep the commandments. Okay? It's just that simple. As a fact, you being the man of the house, you are going to be held accountable if you're not making them keep it.
Right.
Remember why Abraham was chosen. Let's get that and we'll close out. Genesis chapter 18, and I believe it's verse 19.
Genesis chapter 18 and verse 19. For I know him, that he will command his children and his household after him.
Hold on, read it again.
For I know him.
For I know him.
That he will command his children and his household after him. And they shall keep the way of the Lord to do justice and judgment, that the Lord may bring upon Abraham that which he hath spoken of him.
Right. So the Most High is telling you he knows Abraham and that he will command his children and his household after him to do what? Keep the ways of the Lord, meaning keep the commandments. That was chosen.
Right.
The Most High knew he would force the commandments to be kept in his household. So guess what that means for you? Being new to this truth, you're going to have to do the same thing. Just do it. Just do it. Don't worry about who's upset, who don't like what. Just buy in. Just look. The commandments is going to be kept here. And make everybody that's in your house live by the commandments. And before you know it, it'll be a smooth running operation if you elect not to spare feelings and trim God's commandments. All right? You took something from it that you can apply to your day-to-day life. I pray y'all had a blessed and well, peaceful Shabbat or Sabbath. And we're going to get up out of here, but we're going to close out with Matthew 26.
Matthew chapter 26 and verse 6. Now when Jesus was in Bethany in the house of Simon the leper, there came unto him a woman having an alabaster box of very precious ointment, and he poured it on his head, and he sat at meat. But when his disciples saw it, they had indignation, saying, to what purpose is this waste? For this ointment might have been sold for much and given to the poor. When Jesus understood it, he said unto them, why trouble ye the woman? For she hath brought a good work upon me. For ye have the poor always with you, but me ye have not always. For in that she hath poured this ointment on my body, she did it for my burial. Verily I say unto you, wheresoever this gospel shall be preached in the whole world, there shall also this woman have done be told for a memorial of her.
Right, so we're commanded to bring out what this sister did for Christ, bury him for his burial. And also showing that you women are what? Also important to the truth as well. I say shalom, shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom and happy Sabbath.
Somebody cut the tablet.